I never planned to tell this story, but once it started, there was no turning back. Everything began in a small home where tension lived in every corner. Money was always the reason voices rose, even when words stayed quiet. Arguments echoed through walls until silence felt heavier than sound. One parent chased creative dreams while the other carried constant regret. School was treated like an escape route from a life full of struggle. Hard work paid off with an opportunity few ever get. But deep down, another passion had already taken hold. Color felt like a language learned before words ever made sense. Practice happened in quiet moments, guided by curiosity and instinct. By the early years, recognition started to follow naturally. One parent saw pride in progress, while the other saw danger. Creativity was dismissed as a distraction, not a future. Still, the dream refused to shrink. That dream was shared with someone who understood it completely. Friendship formed early and never let go. Access to resources made learning faster and confidence stronger. Knowledge was shared freely, without jealousy or limits. Whenever conflict grew too loud, escape became necessary. Another house offered peace, space, and calm. Inside those walls, life felt lighter. But not everyone welcomed creativity with kindness. Mockery followed wherever imagination appeared. Playful cruelty hid behind laughter and excuses. Adults rarely saw what happened when they weren't looking. Charm fooled everyone except the one who suffered most. Resentment grew quietly over time. One birthday made everything painfully clear. Care was taken to look perfect for that moment, but attention shifted the instant another presence arrived. Laughter followed the wrong shadow. Standing unnoticed felt worse than being unseen. That was the moment something inside began to change. I never understood why attention followed that presence so easily. From an artistic view, the proportions were almost too perfect. But looks never felt as important as depth or character. Creativity and intelligence felt invisible next to charm. Jealousy was mistaken for honesty, and honesty turned into mockery. That birthday joke crossed a line that laughter couldn't erase. Humiliation lingered longer than the prank itself. As years passed, arrogance only grew stronger. Popularity arrived fast and left damage behind. Hearts broke daily, and empathy was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, life at home began to collapse. One night, someone packed up and never came back. Legal papers arrived, sealing the separation. Grief turned into withdrawal and complete shutdown. Days passed without movement or care. Then income disappeared without warning. Savings vanished faster than expected. Soon, even basic needs became uncertain. A trip to the store ended in disaster. Cards failed, and panic took control. Voices rose until attention turned hostile. Desperation led to a reckless escape attempt. Chaos ended with force and shame. Responsibility shifted overnight. Work became unavoidable to keep things afloat. Balancing exhaustion with obligation drained all joy. Support from friendship began to crack. Plans made months ago no longer fit reality. Pressure came from all sides at once. Refusal created distance that words couldn't fix. Eventually, expectations were dropped without resolution. Focus shifted to the future instead. A dream program felt close yet impossible. Talent was ready, but resources were not. A scholarship meant secrecy, so late nights became routine. Work ended, but effort continued long after dark. Rain poured the night everything shifted. Public transport disappeared, leaving only waiting and worry. Then an umbrella appeared, where none was expected. That chance meeting felt accidental, but it wasn't. Conversation flowed during the ride, unexpectedly calm. For the first time, the truth came spilling out. Home struggles were finally spoken aloud. Listening replaced teasing, and judgment disappeared. That kindness changed everything. After that night, closeness grew naturally. Waiting became a habit instead of a burden. Debates replaced insults, and laughter followed. Shared interests created unexpected connection. Time revealed a softer, thoughtful side. Feelings crept in without permission. Admitting them felt terrifying and real. What followed felt sincere and unforgettable. But uncertainty waited just beyond that moment. Telling the truth suddenly felt impossible. The next day brought unexpected tears. Rejection landed cruelly and without logic. Pain hid behind excuses and silence. Comfort was offered, clumsy but honest. Distraction became the coping strategy. Days blurred between errands and forced smiles. There was never a right time for truth. Distance quietly grew despite effort. Late nights turned secretive. Risk replaced reason. Jealousy whispered unfair accusations. An invitation promised escape. Closeness finally felt defined, but fate interrupted at the worst moment. Hiding became the only option. Fear filled the room. Lies were improvised under pressure. Suspicion lingered even after footsteps faded. Help was requested with urgency that couldn't be ignored. A party was framed as proof of moving on. Attendance was demanded, not asked. Creative work was put at risk by the request. Desperation made refusal impossible. Anger followed immediately afterward. Messages went unread. Silence grew louder. At the party, distance felt intentional. Eyes followed from across the room without words. A distraction appeared in the form of a stand-in companion. Waiting replaced dancing. Balance slipped in a moment of distraction. A grip stopped the fall. Unwanted attention arrived instantly. Refusal was ignored. Tension snapped when another presence intervened. Protectiveness turned physical. Impact sent someone stumbling back. Chaos erupted as bodies collided. Anger was visible across the room. A rush forward ended in another fall. Cold darkness swallowed everything. Consciousness returned in a quiet room. Concern hovered close on both sides. The truth surfaced painfully. Blood made consequences impossible to ignore. Secrets finally came into the open. Anger exploded over betrayal and silence. Fear was mistaken for dishonesty. Acceptance came with conditions and boundaries. After that, nothing needed hiding anymore. Visibility brought sudden popularity. Opportunities appeared through unexpected connections. Praise turned into paid commissions. Financial pressure finally eased. Creative focus returned fully. Final touches filled long nights. Then confrontation arrived without warning. Dreams were questioned harshly. Fear of the past dictated demands. Control replaced support. Locked doors ended the discussion. Silence stretched through the next day. Deadlines forced impossible choices. Giving up felt inevitable. Hope resurfaced through unexpected resolve. A bold plan formed quickly. Connections became lifelines. Borrowed artwork rebuilt what was lost. Encouragement replaced doubt. The interview was secured at last. Preparation consumed every moment. Confidence finally took shape. Then everything collapsed in one call. The interview was canceled without explanation. False documents had sealed the decision. Attempts to explain were ignored. Rage turned into determination. Home revealed a far worse truth. Emergency services were called instantly. Answers waited at the hospital. A hidden illness was finally revealed. Silence had been an act of protection. Misunderstanding replaced trust too late. pride had existed all along. One question still burned unanswered. The truth pointed somewhere unexpected. Confirmation shattered what remained. Anger turned into motion without thought. Confrontation exploded the moment the door opened. Denial lasted only seconds. Jealousy finally spoke without disguise. Resentment had been growing for years. Love twisted into hatred unchecked. The betrayal cut deeper than the loss. Jealousy finally admitted what pride had hidden for years. Sabotage was chosen over honesty. Trust shattered beyond repair in that moment. The bond ended without forgiveness. Promises of friendship dissolved instantly. Determination replaced heartbreak. A future was claimed without apology. There was no turning back after that. That face was never seen again. Consequences followed the truth quickly. Confession echoed louder than denial. Punishment replaced privilege. Dreams ended for one and continued for another. Support from an unexpected place changed everything. A second chance arrived just in time. Hospital days stretched into quiet weeks. Hope returned through generosity and sacrifice. A donor appeared when it mattered most. Recovery came slowly but completely. Strength returned to the home. Painful chapters finally closed. Today marks the beginning of something new. Dreams once threatened now feel real. Hardship made this moment sweeter. This journey was never easy, but it was worth it.